Welcome to the world of amazing discoveries of Sergey Ziegler. Everyone knows the myth about Phaeton, the son of Helios, who asked his father to fulfill his request to drive the sun chariot. As a result, he failed and Phaeton died, almost destroying the planet. In fact, this is not just a myth, but a metaphorical retelling of a real event, a real planetary catastrophe, which I describe in my book, Connecting Points. Ancient people wanted to deliver important information to us from the past and encrypted it. Helios, the father of Phaeton, is the sun, and helium is the second element in the periodic table after hydrogen. The sun is composed of more than 25% helium. So, Helios in our myth is the sun, a real cosmic body in our solar system, and the son of the sun, Phaeton, is a planet that was located between Mars and Jupiter, and which was destroyed. At the moment, between Mars and Jupiter, there is a belt of asteroids that remained after the destruction of Phaeton. It was on this belt that a hypothesis was built about the existence of a certain planet in the distant past. Let's return to the myth. There are questions to that myth. For example, how could the sun move closer to our Earth and burn? This is physically impossible. But the myth clearly says that the sun, also known as the chariot of Helios, approached the planet and burned it for a long time before people prayed to Zeus, and Zeus destroyed this chariot with lightning. We understand perfectly well that no Zeus destroyed anything. We are dealing with metaphors and must interpret them correctly. So, something huge, which had a high temperature and looked like the sun, flew to our planet and began to enter its orbit, making revolutions around the Earth and scorching it. Then there was a roar and lightning, and after that, this something ceased to be a threat. Let's interpret what happened. To begin with, we must understand that something huge could not be destroyed by lightning, which itself is simply a discharge between the surface of the Earth and the stratosphere. And lightning happens when it rains, when humidity rises, and conductivity between the ground and the stratosphere increases. Consequently, since lightning was present in the myth and there was a roar, it means that a planetary catastrophe occurred. The lithospheric plates began to shift with a roar, and water began to evaporate in huge volumes, increasing the humidity of the air, which led to lightning. And since there were rains all over the planet, it means that the sky was covered with clouds, and nothing else scorched the earth, and therefore people decided that Zeus struck the threat with lightning. Agree. This is very similar to the truth. I believe you have long understood that this catastrophe and the myth of Phaeton are directly related to the world global flood, which is described in the Bible. The only thing is that you don't know what happened and where this huge cosmic body came from. I describe in detail what happened in my book, but I'll tell you where this body came from right now. First, however, I will greatly surprise you by revealing the secret that this huge cosmic body that flew to us and caused a planetary catastrophe is the moon. And during its arrival, it looked like the sun, since it was a ball of hot magma. Subsequently, this ball cooled down, and now you can observe a cooled ball with characteristic traces in the form of round craters and funnels, which indicate that it was previously a ball of magma. So, you are surprised and shocked. Now we will find out where the moon came from. But we will approach this from a completely different angle. Namely, we will study all the satellites in our solar system that are similar to our moon, because the nature of those other satellites and their location will indicate to us the origin of the moon itself. I looked through many satellites and selected a few that are very similar to the moon. These are Ganymede, a satellite of Jupiter, and two satellites of Mars, Phobos, and Deimos. Look at them. It is obvious from their relief and color that their composition, iron, sulfur, nickel, coincides with the composition of the moon, and the Moon and Ganymede and Phobos and Deimos have a common origin, and they are from the same source. Only Ganymede is round, like the Moon, and Phobos and Deimos are irregular in shape. This suggests that the Moon and Ganymede acquired a spherical shape in a vacuum, and Phobos and Deimos were already in the form of pieces from the beginning. That is, when the planet was destroyed, its solid pieces became both part of the asteroid belt and became satellites of Mars, and its interior, magma, acquired a spherical shape. In other words, the Moon, Phobos, Deimos, and Ganymede are parts of the unfortunate planet Phaeton, after the destruction of which Ganymede flew off to Jupiter, Phobos and Deimos went to Mars, and the Moon flew straight to Uz, to Earth, and entered our orbit, causing a terrible planetary catastrophe and global flood, and by the way, rich in elements such as iron, nickel, and others. The composition of the satellites not only suggests that these are the remains of an already formed planet, but also a high probability that there was life on Phaeton. And perhaps this is also connected with our origins. But that's a completely different story. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.